Matrix, inside the Matrix. I can leg bricks or I can take pics of anime chicks doing insane flips. I can fight an octopus in my Oculus. Ain't nobody stopping us. Go.
It's your man, Pooh Nanners, your Texas caster and hype master.
And the admin that gets weepy in a teepee. I'm sleepy.
Oh, I love it, man. So we've got much more show for you today. Today it is we're in week 5 and also some button cut coverage. So let's jump right into it. We've got Ember versus Cats in the Hats. And this is the time of the Cats is nigh, only being 5 weeks into their first season, and they have cemented themselves as a mid-tier team. While uncasted, this match appears to have been a hard-fought match. Had Ember taking the first map 5-0, and then Cats bring it back 4-0 on the next one. And the downfall is the final map had Cats show that they were better at larger maps compared to Ember, going 3-4 on that final one. Unfortunately, we don't have any clips from it, so we'll just we're talking to Trip in the headset as our director to try to work with his team to get us clips for next time. Following that match, though, a caster one, we had Legionnaires versus Rome. Rome are slowly moving up the standings, almost taking down Legionnaires in this match. Rome held down Suburbia Knight, but then struggled on Quarantine, only to make their comeback on Tanker.
That is right. And after getting a cap in the previous round, we'll see Lorena scout here and show why he is the unorthodox master in this clip. He's going to have pushed up pretty aggressively on defense and then going to find 2 with a shield shotgun combo that's going to keep Legionnaires up at night. As we move on to the final map for our last clip for this matchup, Onward will... Oh, gosh. We see Rome on a quick push towards the objective, and after a few nades fly, we will see William Dunce come in from off camera and plow his knife right through the chest of Raider.
He had that one coming. So his Legionnaires, as you know, ended up winning that one. A total points of 9-7. They were able to take 2 maps. That was the second one and the third one. Tanker coming out 4-2 at the end. So then we had Global Chem versus Gmen, the match of the OGs that went down again this week. There was a shockingly close match for Global Chem. Gmen have been on the slow rise in skill, and it's looking like Globo are going to have to be careful. Though through this match, it was slow going, as you would expect when you have 2 high-level teams. And the rounds were won by slowly picking off the opposing team with no plays or caps coming out until the final map, where Gmen just really woke up and started throwing straight caps.
That they did. Wake up indeed. And in one of the few clips from this game, we will see the G-Men getting very sneaky. And Dr. Leo Marvin is going to prescribe some better objective defense for Globo as he sneaks in under the cover of smoke and gets the cap for G-Men.
Get him. You can do it.
And I mean, he's just here for so long. I mean, I will give him a break. He's a newer player on the G-Men, and I believe a newer player in the league in general. So
it's like, let me check that number.
Just under the cover of darkness, the cover
there
of smoke
it is. Oh.
gets that cap, and yeah.
They were there just like just a hair second later, and he wouldn't have got it. But they ended up going 4-2 on Suburbia, which was the one map that they were able to take from Global Chem with a total point spread of 7-10, which is not something you expect to see against Global Chem. It's very, very nice. Vikings went up against Boss Fight. This was almost a major upset. I'd heard about this one from Trip when he was helping us direct something else. He was watching it on the side, and he's like, oh, man, this match. Vikings managed to take Boss Fight down a couple of pegs. The first map was an absolutely dominating performance of Viking with a 4-0. Boss Fight just had absolutely no idea what to do with it.
Yes, and in our first clip, we get a taste of the comedy to come later in the match as we can see UC Death and Weather Balloon, who apparently have greased their gloves with butter before attacking. As you can see here, they just can't seem to hold on to those smokes or to get them out of their hands. I mean, just a awful mess here.
Maybe they're just having a vape fest.
Yeah, Vape Nation, if you will. The next clip, we get down to business, and Vikings are going to get this round, but just by the skin of their teeth. As we'll see here, Weather Balloon will start the push for Boss Fight with his trusty shield and pistol. Here he goes up the stairs. He's going to try and take down this defender, but he will be flanked from the side. And now, Spoilty and Mad Scientist going to face off. Spoilty going to get the kill in just a fraction of a second before being shot himself, and Vikings will take the win on the first round. And here we go back to the comedy as we get to see what happened from the caster perspective of the clip from the top of shelf.
Grenades?
After the boss fight, Scooby-Doo tries to throw a grenade out the window, fails, tries again, fails, and then dies, and takes one teammate with him. Unfortunately, the hilarity does happen off camera on the cast.
Yeah, but we get it at the top of the show.
And in map number 2, we're going to see Hoochie UK of Boss Fight. He's going to do a wonderful little threading of the needle here as he throws a grenade through a window to grab a great pick onto Mantis of Vikings. I mean, really, these are high-level grenades coming out from the top teams. I mean, just laser guided.
And that's how you're supposed to throw them through a window. Just hopefully the other guys are taking notes.
And a very well-cooked grenade from Weather Balloon is served to Krorzy cold. He then is going to engage his God mode and get a long-distance headshot, and I mean long, onto a member of the Vikings. And yeah, there it is. And wow, I mean, just amazing pistol play there. Look at the range on that in a headshot. Amazing. And then after the dust settles, Weather Balloon is left in a 1v1 against the last member of Vikings, and he goes in for the cap, using the shield to cover the shots that he'll take as he tries to get the cap for boss fight.
And
as we'll see here,
a visor or a hat.
Yeah, he is. He's just got it propped up. He's like, that's that lazy shield combo. And you can see he gets very excited. He leaves the shield behind and just rushing out as he wins around getting that cap.
Laser shield is definitely the high strat meta that everyone should employ, I think. They ended up ultimate point spread between the two teams was 6-9, having a complete one-sided victory in Suburbia Night going to Vikings, then a one-sided victory in Downfall going to Boss Fight, and then I was only there on Bazaar that ended up going 2-4. So real close there for Boss Fight. I'm sure they're like, who are Vikings? What is happening?
What in the world is happening?
Speaking of things that they didn't see happening, though, we had our Button Cup match between Boss Fight and Danglers. This was a hyped-up match between two well-established top-tier teams. Even though, Buxton feels like Danglers have been slipping a little bit lately, but that clearly didn't matter this match. Boss Fight was utterly dominated by the Danglers. Surprisingly so, considering how many people expected it to go the other way. The first map was an interesting one. The following rounds on the next two maps were just standard pick-off, win-lose rounds, and they were kind of uneventful. So me and Parsifal just started having a bit war inside the chat to buy our time, waiting to see who would win.
Yeah, and that was one intense bit war, and the casters do thank you and Parsifal both for that. But here we go. Dangler's going to start out this match completely fearless and walk straight in to the Burning House objective to get the cap onto Boss Fight and end that first map 5-0, and that's just the start of the snowball effect that will ultimately be the Boss Fight's defeat.
And the most important thing, I think, to come out of that match that is worth mentioning is that for the entire week, I was able to grab that first place bit spot away from Parsifal. So try again next time. But no, see that the entire point spread for that one ended up going 5-13. You had a complete one-sided victory on Suburbia, but then you had a 3-4 on Bazaar, so it was very, very close. And then Downfall went 2-4. It was just, oh man. I mean, I expected it to be close. I know a lot of people thought Boss Fight were going to win because, I mean, they do technically rank higher than you guys, even though they don't normally play you guys. Well, I guess it's not your team anymore, but still, the old boys are still there. They still love you. They still consider you half a Dangle Jr. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to the Phoenix versus SMC tactical match. It was another exciting one. This match could definitely be classified as an upset. Phoenix was able to take down SMC tactical after seasons of being solidly below them. They've taken them down and taken their place in the sun. The fires of the Phoenix will hopefully continue. Phoenix had a very nice, strong start, but fell off when it came to SMC's best map, Suburbia, when the final map being a bit of a coin flip, with neither team having likely practiced Subway, which is just a terrible way to end a series.
Yeah, and in our Nate of the Week clip, Sir Landon of Jordan is going to get his throwing arm ready with a real nice half-map grenade onto Gibbs of Phoenix. And just, wow, man, fantastic stuff. Laser guided, as we said. Now, in this next clip, it takes SMC a long time, but they managed to get a cap on the burning objective on Suburbia. Now, to be fair, the Sickness has a new opportunity job that he's been doing lately, and so he hasn't been able to practice or play as much as he used to, so I can give him a break on his cap speeds being a little slower. Now, in our next clip, we'll be here on Subway for the final map, and first we're going to see Sri Lankan getting a nice C4 kill in the Subway tunnel from one of those newer entrances that we just received when the map was updated. Now, he's going to come back and try and get the others because he is aware that there are more there. I can't recall if he's just able to hear the comms. He's going to toss a grenade out, but somehow that grenade's going to kill him and not the guy who's technically closer to him, Landon, but thankfully his team is holding down the objective tight. They end up doing a great job until Mr. Beefy comes in and clutches around with a wonderful 1v3.
They were just showing off some of the fancier physics, you know.
Yeah. Now in our next clip, the sickness is going to shut down Phoenix's push here on the north stairwell, and I saw that flash bounce off the top of that shield. So he is going to grab a nice double kill with the nade he tossed around the corner, and then once he thinks it's pretty much clear, he's going to come in and just finish everything up with the rifle, and he will also pick up a third there as well. But tough objective to defend in general, but SMC really showing us how to do it. Now for the final standoff, this was to decide the series. Phoenix pulls through with a risky but smart play from Squigookin to rush the Volk shield user with a nice flash. This is going to win Phoenix the match. And then later, a little birdie, the birdie being Squigookin in the Twitch chat afterwards when he watched it back, tells me that there was actually only 4 seconds left in the round. So just 4 more seconds, and SMC could have eked out that win and taken the series. But as we saw, Squigookin gets in there, and he does take it down. So Nailbiter doesn't even come close.
Yeah, definitely. 8, as you saw there, 8-8. You saw the full point spread of what happened. It all came down to Subway. It all came down to a 1v1. You couldn't ask to a better end. And even better, an upset. Upsets are always fun with Phoenix on the rise. It was a very nice cap to put on week 5. So let's take a look on how that changes the leaderboard. So you can see the usual suspects sitting at the top, Danglers sitting above Boss Fight, Phoenix sitting in that number 5 position that everybody seems to scrap it out for and didn't really quite expect that. SMC Tactical going all the way down to 7, and Blaze sitting all the way down at 10 despite how well they finished off last season. But again, it is still week 5 and we have many weeks to go, and there are lots of matches that you can get into. So there'll be plenty of season left. Just keep those challenge matches coming, and the Cats and Hats themselves are already 12 matches deep. The Button Cup is back for a second round. Some of the scores are in, so let's take a look at how the scoreboard is starting to shape up around this match. I know we just have a little bit left. So what we don't see here is there's 2 matches, and one of them actually fell off when I took my screenshot here. So we have 3-4. Europe is in lead. We have Fury versus Big Red 1. That's an unscheduled match, and they really should have scheduled that last week. So we'll have to see if the admins decide to just ignore that one, even though they could end in a tie. But what we do have is the Cold Steel versus Silent Purge match. That is not displayed here, that is coming up. So that might end up being the one that decides it. Who do you think would win between those two, Sleepy?
I think in the game of Fury versus Big Red 1, I'd like to give the victory to Fury. I just don't know enough about Big Red 1, being that they're an EU team, so unfortunately I don't cast them a lot. And then Cold Steel versus Silent Purge, I think I'm going to give that one to Silent Purge.
Silent Purge. Okay, so at the end, it's America's on top?
No, that would keep Europe in the lead. Because
Yep.
if Fury won, that would put it 4-4, and then Silent Purge would irk the win by 1 point.
That's right.
For
Silent
Europe,
Purge
so.
is a European team. It's hard for me to keep them together.
Fuck team, actually.
Oh, there you go. Well, so that's going to shape up. We'll see how those last matches go. I think there's going to be a lot of people in the chat just waiting to see what ends up happening, which way it gets decided, and we'll see if you end up being right on that one. Moving on to something else, we have the All-Star Week coming up. This is something we've done before. In summary, it's 4 to 8 randomly chosen teams of players that applied through the Google form. Absolutely anyone can play. There's 6 players per team. No more than 2 members of one league team are permitted, and to keep things interesting. Registrations are open till March 2nd. Team captains will be drawn on the 3rd, and people will play on March 4 through 8 and 9 through 10.
Yeah, so basically on that last bit, we're hoping to have 2 groups of 4, one in the EU, one in the NA, in order to make things easy for scheduling for that week, where they'll basically play single elimination matches, and then we're planning on doing a semis finals type thing on the weekend. So that's where those dates are coming in. That's what you're seeing there on the schedule for that. So yeah, they'll have a full week to play out their matches between teams, and then on the weekend we'll take it and build it into a bit of a bracket and make it fun for everyone and cast and, you know, that type of stuff. So it'll be a nice little event for everyone to join in, become, you know, engorged in the community, really jump in there and chat it out with the guys and gals who are in there doing it every week and stuff like that. So if you want to play, sign up. If you don't want to play and you just want to watch, come on by. Even if you don't even play the game, even if you don't have the game or you do play it but you just don't like playing competitively, come out, hang out with us, because either way, it's going to be some great Onward action. We're going to see some of the top players in the league, see if they can adapt to playing without the backbone structure that is their cohesion with their unit.
In my experience, they can't. I've seen
there are some players that can, but
some people are probably more versatile. But I do see this a lot of pro leagues, that in order to stay on top, you constantly play with your team and you count on them to be where they're going to be, and you have such a shorthand in your language that at some point you don't even say anything anymore because everyone just knows what you're going to do. And then you switch that dynamic up in pubs and you realize, wow, I cannot play pubs. And there's guys who dedicated, like, all they do is play pubs, so they know they just have themselves to count on. And like I've seen that where, like, you know, league professionals go up against just the guy who only plays pubs, and the guy who only plays pubs is the one winning. But moving on to how to get into it, though, like this, as you said, All-Star Week's a good way to get into it. And if you don't want to do that one, Hasko, our very own Hasko, has been working on an interview series, and we have a taste of an interview that she has with Thunder Pilot about this very thing.
The first thing is that you really just need to be able to have a good time. If you want to have fun, I think that's definitely the first step, because it's not all about just the competition and winning and stuff. You have to love the game. You have to love, you know, learning with other people and losing and winning together and kind of shoring up your deficits and that sort of thing. I think, you know, joining the Discord for Onward is a really good way to start, because that's, you know, there's a lot of people forming teams, especially right now, just because of, you know, all this blowing up. And if you play Onward, I would say look out for competitive lobbies. It's a really good way to meet league players. And if you impress people, oftentimes they'll ask you, hey, are you on a team? And that's how a lot of people have joined teams, you know, and that's one of the best ways to get recruited, I think. You can't be someone who is lone wolfing it. You have to be able to...
Well, that is it for us. You will be able to see the entire video and a link in the description below. Thanks to all our players and viewers for supporting the show. We were able to pass 600 subscribers. That's almost double what we had before the episode of this one. Thanks to you guys. And our Onward coverage is on the verge of breaking 1,000 views per episode. So show us some love in the comments to get a conversation going, as this helps the show rank up and get more exposure to people that don't know about the league yet.
Yes, and keep those clips coming, folks. Even if your match went uncasted, we do still love those first-person points of views. So feel free to send them to us, whether it be via Twitter, through DMs on Discord, or post them in the Discord for Onward, and we'll pick them up, throw them in the show if we like them. And yeah, so the more clips we have, the more great highlights we can bring to you.
That's right. We are always looking for more great highlights. Again, I am Poonanders, joined by VRML Mod, Caster, and former dangler Sleepy.
That's right, Poonanders, and this show was brought to you, of course, by VRespawn.com, your only source for VR esports entertainment. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow us on Twitter to stay up to date with the latest news on VRespawn.com.
That's right. This episode was written by Buxton, directed by Triple Nipple, and special thanks to Z-Man for our motion graphics. We expect to see more fancy production work from him in the future. Send us home, Sleepy.
Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you know when our videos come out. We've got a lot more action to bring you next week. See you all then. Good night, everybody. I'm going to punish you for coughing during that.